Hello, everybody. Welcome along to Sportsbet TV. Once again, with me, Paul Alster. Looking ahead now to a really good weekend's racing, particularly Saturday at both Ayr and Newbury. I'm going to be focusing on the two big sprint handicaps, so two 25 runner handicaps I have for you. So, no problem there, a cinch, as I'm sure you're very well aware. If you're joining me for the first time, press the subscribe button just below this screen. You'll get all my free tips here at YouTube. And as you'll see in a few moments' time, I'm always looking for really good value odds to bet each way. You don't get rich backing short prices and odds on shots, I can tell you that much. If you're interested in four selections that I've already posted at Out in Front, including a 100 to 1 shot that I've put up in one of the races at Ayr on Saturday, then you can sign up and join me at Out in Front via the link in the description box just below this screen. And we've been having a fairly good run of things over the second half of this flat season. Now then, two selections, as I say, for Saturday. Let's take you first to the Ayr 225, the Ladbrokes Ayr Silver Cup. They're saying at the moment, as of Friday lunchtime-ish, good to soft in places, but they're forecasting a lot of rain, so I think it's going to be really testing. 25 runners. We're uncertain at this point over whether or not there's going to be a bias in the draw. Low numbers actually won the only sprint handicap on the straight course on Thursday, but most of the fancied horses on Friday and Saturday are drawn high. So maybe over that extra furlong it will even out, and maybe with more rain that'll be the case. We'll have to wait and see. But it's probably going to be the case that the best horse is going to win from wherever it is drawn, both here in the Silver Cup, the consolation race for the Gold Cup, and in the Gold Cup itself later in the day. So it might be that the centre is as good a place to be as any. Now, an unsettled weather forecast means that the already easy ground is likely to be riding genuinely soft by post time on Saturday afternoon, and much of the form of the last 3 months' fast ground conditions could very easily be turned upside down. Now, nearly all the horses prominent in the betting are drawn centre to high, including the still unexposed William Haggar's trained 3-year-old Bin Harir, an easy course and distance winner on handicap debut 3 starts back, but beaten on his last 2 starts off his revised £11 higher mark, including when I tipped him and he was a big mover in the market last time. He still ran very well to be placed there, but he's a little bit skinny, I think, at 5 to 1 favourite in a 25 runner race. And so I think he's probably worth taking on this time. You never know. Always chancy taking on William Haggis, of course. Now, Noriko is trained by Hugo Palmer, and Noriko has won 4 of his last 5 starts. Horse already proven to be well suited by testing ground and a major player with the excellent Asheen Murphy on board. Now, he's returning from a 2-month break, so will be fresher than many of his rivals. So fascinating to see if he can pick up where he left off in July. You'll remember that Richard Spencer dominated the finish of the Stewards' Cup at Glorious Goodwood last month with 3 of the first 5 home, including the winner. This time in the Silver Cup, he's running Candy right there, right now, and the first time blinkered Space Cowboy. Candy, I think, may be the pick of the trio. He hinted he's on his way back to his peak with a really sound effort at Ascot last time, and he rattled up an autumn hat-trick last year that included a course and distance win at this meeting, so I think Candy is an interesting contender. Now, Far Above Dream for James Owen slews through heavy ground at Goodwood recently, so no problems with the ground, and he runs under a penalty. If he's in a similar mood, he could be a danger from his stance rail draw. While among a host of others with claims, rousing encore for Ruth Carr, Mikistabiz Sondad, the Kevin Ryan trained Sergeant Wilco, and the Irish raider Bodie Bear for Fozzie Stack also come into the equation. Now, I'm going to be backing 2 in the race, one of which I've already highlighted at Out in Front. The other, which I fancy no less, is Francisco's Peace, trained by Adrian Keatley, who's really beginning to make a proper name for himself over the last few seasons from his Midland base, and the mount of Rowan Scott. Now, Francisco's piece has got the ground coming finally in his favour, having hinted clearly in recent starts that he retains his ability that he showed as a 2-year-old last season when he ran some very good races at a high level. He ran in Ireland last Sunday at the Curragh, but the conditions were far less testing than I think they were anticipating. And so I think they were a bit disappointed. They didn't get the really soft ground they hoped for. He wasn't disgraced, but he's going to get his soft ground this time, surely, unless there's a heat wave at Ayr in the next 24 hours. And I think he's fairly handicapped on the pick of his form. So he's 25 to 1 each way for 6 places with Bet365, Boyle Sports, and Paddy Power at the time of this recording. Francisco's piece in the Ayr Silver Cup. And then just over an hour later, the big one, the Ayr 335, is the Ladbrokes Ayr Gold Cup. It's going to be pretty soft ground, 25 runners. It is a high quality cavalry charge as ever. And by the time this race comes around, we may well have a little bit clearer picture about where the best place on the track to be is, having seen the Silver Cup. Northern Ticker for Michael Dodds has been Andy Poe's favourite for this for quite a while. And easy ground has come up trumps for him. He carries a £5 penalty for his latest brave win at York's Ebor fixture, and I think Northern Ticker looks sure to go well once again. As too does his admirable stable companion Comanche Falls. What a star he's been for connections over the last 5 or 6 seasons. And he was only beaten ahead by Northern Ticker in that York race. And he's actually handicapped to turn the form around. So Michael Dodds with a very, very strong hand in this year's Ayr Gold Cup. Now, talking of handicapping, the clear blot on the handicap is Kevin Ryan's Ain't Nobody, officially £13 well in, because this race closed before he ran that stunning 100 to 1 second in the Group 1 Nunthorpe Stakes last month at York. And so the handicapper hasn't had the opportunity to work that into calculations because they closed the race and the weights. In other words, if he'd seen it, the Nunthorpe, the handicapper, would have given him £13 more. That's 6 kilos more than he's going to be carrying on Saturday. So on the face of it, he looks to have a massive chance, doesn't he? But whether he is as effective over this extra furlong is a bit debatable. And he was beaten comprehensively in the Betfred Sprint Cup at Haydock last week, a couple of weeks ago, albeit that, of course, was a Group 1 and this is a handicap. So I've got my reservations about the value of that 100 to 1 second. Was it a fluke behind us for her? I don't know. If it was 5 furlongs, I'd certainly fancy him better. But in this ground, 6 furlongs with a big weight, I'm not sure. Now, Kevin Ryan has got a really good record in the race. And along with Ain't Nobody, he's running We Never Stop, the grand veteran Bergerac, and Hammer the Hammer, who, if you cast your mind back to the Stewards' Cup at Glorious Goodwood not that long ago, he was sent off favourite, but he didn't run his race for whatever the reason. On his midsummer form, Hammer the Hammer is a major contender, and as a 3-year-old, he should still be improving, so could have more to offer. Now, a Ram Ram trained by Richard Hannam was my handicap sprinter to follow at the start of this term, and he's done us proud. He's run well on nearly all starts this campaign. But I do fear the handicapper might have his measure now, so I'm not going to recommend him on this occasion. Two Tribes, trained by Richard Spencer, was of course a brave winner of the Stewards' Cup at Glorious Goodwood, and then was beaten less than a length off an £8 higher mark last time out at York. He really does seem to be holding his form well, but the proper soft ground might be a slight issue for him, and he's got top weight, which makes his task very tough. Richard Spencer also runs Run Boy Run and Twilight Calls, who were 4th and 5th respectively in that Stewards' Cup, and the latter, Twilight Calls, I think he's set to appreciate Saturday's ground that little bit better and could go well. The dark horse in the race for me is the 3-year-old Flash Harry. He has only had 5 career starts, but he's never finished out of the first 3. He, I think, is a really decent prospect. His siblings as well have all handled testing ground, so I think he could be bang there for Clive Cox, who's such a great trainer of sprinters. You remember Alpha Kalenic last season carrying all before her in handicaps, running up a wonderful sequence when trained by Craig Lidster. She's now with Ivan Furtado, makes her debut for the yard, and she's been off for 11 months, so it would be one hell of a performance if she could win this. It really would, and I doubt that she's going to be up to it. My selection then, well, in what is a truly wide open contest, I'm backing two in the race again, one of which I've already highlighted it out in front at big odds. Here at Sportsbet, I really do think that Pura Songwe for Andrew Balding and Asheen Murphy, currently an 11 to 1 each way shot for six places with Bet365 at the time of this recording. I think Pura Songwe is going to run a big race. He's already been attracting money. I think there's a bit of a word for him going really well in this race. And of course, he is a classy horse. I believe he's got a serious chance on Saturday, being very, very well suited by soft ground. Indeed, the more rain, the better for him. He ran well on good to soft ground last time out when he really did hint that his winning turn might not be at all far away. And on the pick of his form, he is a well handicapped horse of 98. And of course, he represents a top trainer jockey combination, that of Andrew Balding and Asheen Murphy, both of whom are still in form. So Pure Songwe, 11 to 1 each way for six places, is my choice here at Bet365. If you want to find out all my other selections for Saturday, and I'm also going to be tipping some on Sunday as well, then you can check them out via the link in the description box below this screen and consider joining me at Out in Front. But for now, here at Sportsbet, that's it for this weekend. I hope you enjoy your racing and wherever you're betting, whether it's going to be the races I've highlighted at Ayr or at other meetings such as Newbury, the Mill Reeve card, the Newmarket card that has the Cesarewitch trial, a decent card at Chester, and some good racing in Ireland. I wish you the very best of luck. Bye bye for now.